Hey guys, it's BW and we're back out in the garage. This video we're going to start overhauling or reconfiguring our cooling system on the gasser. We had a boil over. There's a few things it could have been. We're just going to throw the kitchen sink at it. There's a job that I've been wanting to do since before the car was actually out on the street running, and I guess I never pulled the trigger on it. I wanted to get a short nose water pump because I wanted to pick up. You gain almost, I think it's 1 3/4 inches of space, and we desperately need that. I'm going to try to put this bigger fan. It's from a Lincoln MKX, and it's twice as strong as the shroud with the 2 fans on that I have now, and it's stronger than the 16-inch fan that I have back there. It just moves volume of air. So we're going to make this fit onto our old radiator. I don't have anything against the cold case, but I have this radiator out of the car. They're almost identical, but this one actually fits the car better. For the drain and everything like that, it just fits the car because I built it around this one. And I only saw like 3-degree temperature difference between the cold case and this with the current setup. So I think I'm going to put this old radiator back in for now, and we'll just rebox up that cold case. We'll use it on another project, or we'll sell it at a swap meet or something. I don't know. Or we may need it and keep it as a spare if this one gets a hole. But let me show you what I'm doing real quick, and then we'll take the video from there. We'll get under the hood of the car, and I'll show you the discoveries I had for the guys that don't watch the shorts, but I'm learning a lot. I think I am anyway. All right, so you guys can see that this is oversized. We need to mark it and cut it down, and then we have to come up with some kind of way to bolt it to this bracketry. I got some aluminum angle iron around here somewhere. It's either under the table or it's out in the shed. I got a little bit. I think it's too big, but we can trim it down to make it work, and that'll like blank off the dead air space, and it'll give this a ledge to rest on, and then we got somewhere to run a set of bolts through. At least that's the plan. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this, and I'm going to put a square on there, and we'll get our edge. We'll draw a straight line. Let me get the plastic cut, and then we'll bring you guys back in. All right, guys, well, you can see it's dark. It's a couple hours later. I had to go run a couple errands. I came back. I cut the plastic. I found the angle iron in the shed. This one had a big notch in it, so I had to cut and weld a piece in right here, and then I sanded it. I think it, other than that little tiny spot right there, I think it came out all right. But I used the angle irons to cap the ends, so it's still got its shroud properties. As it's capped off here, we'll just get a little bit of black caulk to put around where we had to slide this under. This is where the controller used to go, and that's the part my buddy needed out of this, and you had to buy the whole fan. That's how come he gave me the fan. So I just had to slice into these to slide the angle iron underneath of it, and we just have it like that. I was thinking about trying to put some kind of louver thing. I'm just going to leave this open to come through. It's like the cooler's at the bottom, and as it rises, the hot rises to the top, and that's where the cooling action is going to pull through, I think, anyway. Scientifically speaking, and I didn't do too good in school, but I know that heat rises, so we'll leave that bottom open. I have these little clips I cut out of the angle iron, and I bent them. I'll have to sand them smooth here. I wasn't perfect. I bent them into vise. We'll put a couple bolts through these, tighten them down on both sides, all right, and then we'll put a tack on each one, and then we'll pull it off and weld it on the table so we don't I don't think it'll burn through if I go nice and slow, but I mean, I'm really good with the aluminum at work, but this welder at home, it works okay. It's like it's different. So we'll weld them up though. It'll be all right. It'll be good and strong. I mean, I welded that up. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna go in and get cleaned up. It's 9 o'clock. The Pepsi sign's wrong, but the Howie Mook's clock is right. It's about 10 after 9. I'm going to go in and take a shower, and we'll pick this up tomorrow. All right, guys, well, it's the next day. It was raining right up to 4 o'clock, and now it's nice out. I came straight out. I've been out here a little over 3 hours. We're getting a lot done. Oh, I think we're getting a lot done anyway. We did what we talked about yesterday. I pulled these off after I tacked them and went ahead and welded them out solid, both sides. All right, it's ready to go. There you go. And then I bolted them down to the radiator bracket, so they're good to go. I may just sand these right here a little bit to make them a little better flush, but other than that, hey man, they're ready to go. I'm happy with it. The fan is mounted. It's good and strong. I couldn't believe it, guys. The water pump showed up today. This is Sunday, and a minivan showed up, some delivery company with a magnet on the side. I don't know if a guy was doing it on the side, a courier or what, but I couldn't believe it. I can't say enough nice things about Summit, man. I ordered this stuff on Friday, I think it was, at work, and it's Sunday, and they delivered it. I got the cast iron short nose, guys. I mean, I'm of the opinion that after $100, once you select the high flow, that you're paying for the finish mostly. I mean, these things go anywhere from 100 all the way up to $600-700 if you're buying some kind of highly polished Elderbrock or something. And maybe they got some highfalutin stuff on there that I'm not aware of. But I like the good old cast iron ones. They're a little heavy, but hey, that's what I got. That's what I'm going to use. All right, I got the alternator brackets over here. I'll show you that setup in a minute. I could picture, if you look at that picture, that's pretty much the setup. But I'll dig those all out in a minute and show you that. That's probably going to be the hardest part of this job, is moving the alternator, because it's going to have to go from this location to down here. That way, when I move the water pump in, everything still lines up. Everything's still in line, I believe, anyway. If I planned the job correctly. I got all the bolts except this one top one out on the radiator. It's getting ready to come out. I was just going to reuse this cold case. I have nothing against it. I'm impressed with the core inside and everything. With the, I showed you guys that before, that the tubes are like, there's only 2 passes, but they're like this big, and it's really cool and everything. But my biggest problem with it is the drain don't line up with where my other drain, where I made this custom cutout. So it's next to impossible to drain this when I got to work on it. So I'm making the change. I only noticed about 3 or 4 degree difference anyway between this radiator and that one, so we're putting it back on. With that big fan, if it doesn't cool it, I'm gonna have to drop back and punt. I don't know. But anyway, you guys can see the amount of room we're gonna pick up. It looks like about 1 3/4 inches that we're gonna pick up going with that short nose. We'll see. That's still gonna be tight, guys. I mean, that's, you guys can see how, if this fan right here, which is narrower, was in line in the middle, you can see how it would not fit. All right, the only reason this one fit is because they're on each side of it. So I need that full, I think it's 1 3/4 inches, and I'm hoping that it fits. That's why that's one thing I'm going to check tonight, is I'm going to pull this off and put the cast iron one on, and then see if I could slip that radiator down in, because I have to know, is it gonna fit? All right, like I say, the hardest part of the job is going to be the alternator, but we're not going to make a big deal out of it. We're just going to have to reroute some wires. I may have to make a new wire that goes from the mega fuse, and I might have to reroute it to get over there to make it nice and neat. That's probably going to be the hardest part of the job. All right, we're thinking, from anybody that don't watch our shorts, we're thinking that this breaker probably tripped, and that's why the fan wouldn't come back on. Because even when I lifted the thing and I tried to get the fans to come on by taking this wire right to ground, it wouldn't. But as soon as it cooled down, this turned back on, I guess. It reset itself, and now the fans work again. But I can't trust this, so we're going to be taking this out as well. And I'm just going to put a blade fuse in, 40 amp blade fuse, either 30 or 40 amp, whenever I pull this off and look at it, and then I'll know what it's rated for. But yeah, I'm gonna pull that breaker off of there and just go with a blade fuse. That way we know. All right, if that tripped or not. If it blows the blade fuse, we'll know we gotta look at a voltage problem. All right, guys, well, we're getting ready to bolt the short water pump on. The only small snafu was the pulley was set up for 5/8 of an inch shaft, and all the aftermarket stuff comes with a 3/4 shaft. You can see, like, the engine shop guy, whenever I had this sent down there, he's the one that suggested I switch back to the stock size pulleys for cooling and everything else, so I went along with it. And you can see he machined the shaft down right here. I didn't know it. I guess he just took care of it, and that's no problem. But I don't have a lathe here, so I just opened a hole up to 3/4. I mean, we got 4 5/16 grade 8 bolts holding it. It's not like tight or anything like that, but it's centered. Everything's centered up. I think that's the main purpose, is for that to stay centered up. So, and we are, so we're gonna go with it. That was the only snafu. So let me get this bolted on, and then we'll see if the radiator fits. All right, guys, well, we got the old new radiator back in. Well, it had like 50 miles on it, so we're going to still call it new. But we mounted the MKX, early 2000s MKX Lincoln fan on there, and I think that thing is just going to pull air through that radiator. I'm excited to try it. I can't wait. We're going to have to wait a little bit, though, because like I said, I picked the alternator bracket out, and I picked the one that goes down here on and bolts to these 2 holes here on the bottom, and where the steering box is, it just wouldn't allow it. I was worried about that, but I figured I'd give it a try. So I've already got a return in. Kim printed me a label out, send that back to Summit. I was going to do an exchange, but then I would have had to wait till they got the part before they shipped me the part. So I decided, hey man, I got to pay for my mistake a little bit. I think it said somewhere, I think I got to eat like 13 bucks, whatever that thing weighs. I got to eat that amount. So, and I'm okay with that. That company treats me very, very well. So we're going to get that one sent back to them. We're going to get the correct one here. I was trying to avoid it. I looked at it, you know, and it's the one, you guys know the one where it like bolts to this bolt and this bolt on the head, and it hangs way out here. And I just, they're unattractive, but I got to use it. It's the only one I can find on there that it looks like it's going to work, because I got to use the inside pulley on that damper. All right, we've already got it filled back up with fluid. The one thing that I wasn't wild about was the bottom hose. It's a little bit wrong, but it's like, you can see where it just a little kink right there. But I got the spring in here, so I feel like it'll be all right. I am going to shop around to see if I can find a better one with like a twist in it. I'm sure I can find something. It's just the way this, for some reason, this neck comes down a little bit different than the other one did. Obviously it's in a little bit more, but it seems to me like the other one was pointing down. Maybe it's just my imagination, and it's just the fact that the pump's a little bit further over. It could be that. All right, I'm excited to have the old new radiator back into the petcock valve. Now I can drain my fluids properly without making a mess. Well, we're happy about that. All right, but that's where I'm gonna have to leave the job for today. When that bracket comes, I'm wondering if I can still mount it on this side or not. I'm gonna have to look and see. I don't know if I can or I can't. I think I have to switch to that side, but it would be nice if I didn't have to, because then I still have all my wires here. But we'll figure it out. When it gets here, we're going to do whatever we have to do to make it right, okay? If you come over here, on this side, what was I going to show you? I snipped the wires here, so the green's going to obviously go to the red. I might just get some new 10 wire, because this is spliced, and if I pulled this, I got to pull the conduit out. It's already spliced, and I don't want to splice, especially on an important component like that. So I may get a new wire so that I only have 2 splices instead of 3. We'll figure all that out later. We got the main components to the engine back in, and I'm thrilled. It even looks decent. You know, I was worried how it was going to look, and I think that looks great. All right, so we'll pick this up tomorrow. All right. All right, guys, well, it's the next day. You can see I got it wired up. It's a nice, neat job. I think it looks pretty good, you know. So we're gonna go with it. And man, is this, you guys can't believe how strong this fan is. Look at this thing. Incredible. I'm gonna try to show you. Just take this. Let me see if I can here. I'll go around to this side. Use the ground right here. This paper way back here. Look at that. I mean, it's more than twice. It's maybe 3 or 4 times stronger than the aftermarket setup we had. So I really think that's gonna really help us a lot. We still may have to play with the timing. I was looking at all my spark plug wires, and I have one that was arced here and another one that was arced that was just took it off. So we're gonna have to replace 2 of the wires. I don't know if I didn't have the sock high enough or there was damage that I didn't see, but when I put the socks on there. But I'm gonna slide the socks up a little bit, and maybe I could just get that a little further away from the header there and there. The other, what is it, 6 of them are pretty good shape, so we're all right there. Our next move is our Summit new alternator bracket came. I called it a radiator bracket. I don't know, you know, my brain doesn't work sometimes in one of my shorts, but it came today. I mean, I love Summit, man. It's like you order it, boom, it's here. So I'm gonna break it out of the box, and we'll see if we can get the alternator mounted. And then the biggest job is we're gonna have to be moving some wires. I did get a spool of 10 gauge from Amazon, so power 10 gauge power or ground wire. So it's got kind of like a weird cover on it. It's like silicone or whatever, but it's 10 gauge, so it's rated correctly. We'll try it out. All right, let me get this radiator. See, I did it again. Let me get this alternator bracket out of the box, and we'll get it set up. Okay, guys, well, we got the alternator bracket bolted up in there. It came out pretty good. We moved all our wiring around. We ended up getting everything wired in. It came out really neat. Everything's happy with everything. I made a short and showed everybody how we measured for our belt. Okay. All right, so onward and upward. After we did all that work, we took it for a ride. All right, I didn't make a short on it or anything. It just was a spur of the moment thing. And I let it idle here in the shop for about 15 minutes. And it hung around 200 degrees. I mean, it creeped up a little bit. It got up to like 206, 207. That's when I said, okay, let's go for a ride. And I just went for a short ride. I went down the road here and back, I'd say about 4 miles total. And by the time I got home and put it away up here in the shop, it was running around 215. When I shut it off, you know, the temperature just keeps rising even after it's shut off because the heat's soaked in. So I obviously run the fan, and I had to run the fan for about 10 minutes till it kicked off. Then I shut everything down. So it's a mixed bag of nuts. I still think it's running a little warm. That's not hot, guys. Let's be honest, for a big block. But I feel like, you know, one little snafu and it could still go up a little bit. So at this point, I think I want to check the timing. Okay, and then maybe we want to take just a tiny bit out. I think that's what I want to do. I want to get set up for that. Oh, also, yesterday, before I did anything else, I have not tested anything else. We changed from a 180 thermostat that's sitting over there. I don't know if you could spot it on that ledge. And we put a 160 in. All right, so I'm not sure if that's going to make much of a difference, but we're going to try it. We're going to see. You know, it's like everybody has ideas. A few people gave me that one. All right, so I'm going to get set up to try to time this. All right, well, I got everything set up. I got the wire on number 1. I think that's good enough ground, I hope. And the power I can grab is right there at the alternator. I did take the liberty the other day and clean up the timing marks, so we'll be able to get to those real good. I didn't really want to do this in the shop, so I'm going to turn the fan on, but the yard, it's drier, but it's still a little marshy, so I'm just going to do it right here, and we're just going to check it and see where it's at. So just give me a few minutes. Okay, guys. when I first checked the timing, we were above the mark. We were about 18 degrees. I dialed it back to about between 12 and 16, right around the 14, 15 mark. And that's pretty normal for a big block Chevy. So we took about, I would say a total of about 3 degrees, maybe 4 out. I added 1/2 turn to the idle. It's been running pretty good for about 5 minutes. If I check the temperature, fan's keeping it around 180 right now. Now, you know, that's subject to change when we get out in traffic. But we only been idling about 5 minutes. Our ambient air temperature in the shop, with the car running, is almost 100 degrees. She sounds really good. So I think we just had a really hot tune, and I'm thinking that this is going to help solve our cooling problem. We're going to shut her down. We're going to let it cool all the way down, and then I just want to see how hard it is to start after changing the timing. Guys, well, the fan's just shut down, but yeah, we took almost 4 degrees timing out of this thing. If you look down here at the timing marks, when I started, the timing mark was like, I would say 1 full mark above the whole graph. So if you're saying that this line is 16 and this would be 18, we were almost 20. I mean, 18 to 20. And I could honestly say that was just a little too high, and I'm pretty sure that was the source of most of our heating problems. I did my research, and initial timing for a 454 big block, this is a 468, but it's, you know, it's 454 bored out, so is averaged between 12 and 15 degrees before center. So I went ahead and I dialed it back, and we're just above 12 and this mark right here. So I would say we're anywhere from 13 to 14 degrees. So we took about 4 degrees of timing, initial timing out. My big thing now is, how's it going to start up? I want this thing to cool all the way down. I did put 1/2 turn of idle in when I took that timing out, and it sounded really nice. It was running nice. It never got hot. But and now the temperature's all the way back down. I mean, it's still warm. I would like a next day cold start, but let's just start it up right now and see how it cranks. I'm not going to touch the gas or nothing. Let's just see what it does. Oh, it started right up, guys. You can hear it idling. So that's not too bad. And I did not see, after we got the timing dialed in, I did not see it come above 185, but we're gonna have to see how it does in traffic, out in public, and stuff like that. That's where I'm at with this car right now. I'm still trying to get the garage cleaned up. You guys can see it's still a mess because we're going to be getting this in pretty soon. Kim and I are just about ready to pull a trigger on a shed so I can make some serious room in here. And I want to start cutting some metal. I want to start driving this a little more and get it painted. So that's what's coming up next on BW's Garage. I'm going to go ahead and put this content up, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. I'd really appreciate a subscribe if you could. It really helps my channel. It doesn't cost you guys a penny. All right, so until next time, take care, everybody.